Gauntlet.
Punching their tickets to the Global Gauntlet Finals.
Qualified for the Global Gauntlet.
They are to the finals.
Global Gauntlet.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Global Gauntlet Rewound, where we are taking a look at matches that were not featured on stream. Today we have round 6 Azure versus ISM Rhythm. I'm Cater, joined here today by Hammy.
I am glad to be here. Again, I've already been on one of the earlier Global Gauntlet Rewounds, and it was so much fun that I had to come back for some more. As you said, Azure versus ISM Rhythm here. I'm a huge fan of the players of Azure. These are names that I recognize just from watching Splatoon, getting my butt kicked at lands. Like, these are like Zenith, Volti, Yoshell, Hexen, and Thunder. If you've been around the Western scene, you know these players. You know that they're going to bring their all today in this set.
Absolutely. Zenith, I want to highlight, she is a very flexible player. You can see that she's listed on that heavy Splatling, a great weapon right now, especially after the paint buffs that it got. But she is very flexible and has achieved her peak weapon, her peak X power with Splatana Wiper, actually. So we could see her switch around on a lot of different weapons possibly today.
Yeah, for sure. It could be exciting to see that. Now, of course, we have been seeing that heavy splatling a lot in splat zones, so that may very well be the reason for that. And I respect playing what is strong for the mode and making those sacrifices, even when you're not on your favorite weapon, to really cover the bases for the team. And that's what you need. You need team players, people who can really bring it all together. Now we also have our other team here, of course, ISM Rhythm, our Japanese team in this match, being Livia, Grandroll, Goyame, and Yochen Ika. And just look at these X powers real quick.
They are crazy high. Like I mean, Yochen on 4,800, Goyame with 3840, and I believe Goyama actually has the highest peak X power with E-Liter 4K unscoped, so the absolute master of that weapon right here.
Yeah, I do believe they're kind of credited for being one of the people that brought E-Liter 4K into the meta, into the mainstream, and just in general, this team, this roster of players has kind of been called meta defining. They have become popular playing weapons, and everyone's been copying them because they realized, oh, these are good. You know, we have the 96 Gal with the vacuum, we have the E-Liter 4K. This team, they have like developed a culture around a lot of these weapons, and they're here to show off exactly why that's the case.
Well, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it absolutely is not broke, because it has been working very well for them so far. As a refresher, we are working on a selection and strike system where all of our maps are in the pool here, and both of these teams, depending on seeding, wins, and losses, will have a chance to select, strike certain stages from the pool and then select certain stages. It looks like Azure has decided to strike Sturgeon Shipyard and Eeltail Alley, both completely understandable choices. I always find it interesting how back in Splatoon 2, Sturgeon Shipyard was kind of a staple stage that we saw a lot, especially on the splat zones, and now people actively dislike playing on it.
Yeah, it's interesting how that can shift over time, but with the new mechanics in Splatoon 3, the new weapons, the new kits, and even the new playstyles and meta, things can shift. Now we are going to game number 1, which is a randomly picked map from the remaining pool. We have Robo, ROM-en, Splat Zones. A very interesting one to start on. Again, this map, the zone is kind of up on a pedestal in the middle of the map. A lot of avenues for any stealthy players, any fast-paced weapons to come up from a lot of angles, as both our teams loading up in here. Azure in the yellow, ISM Rhythm in the purple.
As you can see, we've got Zenith flexing off of the heavy splatling that we saw listed onto Zap. So that is going to be the cooler weapon of choice for Azure. And mirrored on the side of ISM, they also have a Zap player here. Yoshell getting set up in the quintessential sniper position right behind this glass as Azure is trying to get this push into the zone here. They have a lot of control. One down now on both sides as Volti is going to go up onto the zone, but as it is captured for ISM, Rhythm decide to back off, unfortunately going down. ISM in control as Livia on the zap, going very forward, gets one pick and dropping off before they can go down to Thunder, who has popped the crab from the ramp, trying to use this angle. Volti getting the very high arc. Inkzuka pick, though, does go down right after.
Yeah, the crab was able to be the distraction for the Zuka to get that pick, though not giving Azure the position they really wanted. They did cap the zone and apply that penalty, but they still are not out of rough waters yet here. Getting pushed up is the side of ISM Rhythm. Now, you mentioned there is a mirror match with the Zaps. There's also a mirror match with the E-Leader 4K. And when you're in Robo ROM-en and the enemy 4K leader is pushed up, that's going to be a nightmare getting out of your own spawn. But Azure able to get out. They just need to cap here to apply a penalty, get themselves back in this game. We're only a minute and a half in, so damage control has been done. Now we need to make sure to keep ISM Rhythm out.
They're doing their best, but Yoika is still hanging on the side there, finally opting to jump out. Yoshel putting down that area control. Livia here does get the pick on Thunder on the side and is now going to use the zap to push in from the side. We're getting the pick on Zenith as well and putting down the cooler for the rest of the team. This is a great place for ISM to be in, though they do lose 3 players, meaning that Livia is now the only one alive. Thunder in the flow aura here, putting down the pressure and not getting the pick. Actually, they're falling to Livia, who is on a roll. Yoshel looking for another snipe, spots Goyame on the snipe position for ISM, but not quite able to get the pick.
Even with the mirror match, it's interesting to see how these players are playing the weapons differently. Again, Livia in that corner just getting pick after pick after pick, whereas we have Zenith playing the much more supportive role, giving soda to the team, playing with the rest of the squadron. But once again, we have ISM Rhythm in control of the zone and getting through their penalty, extending that lead through the halfway point. Now we have Volti coming in on this left flank, using the Zuka, not able to get the same pick they got earlier, but now they've given away the position, but going all the way to the other side will give them a stealthy option to come in behind ISM Rhythm here. But now we have the Blaster here in the corner. The Splashdown will get the pick and defend off that flank. ISM Rhythm once again looking to be in control.
Grand coming in from the top rope with that Reef Slider. A lot of location information coming from the point sensor from Yoika here on this custom blaster, so they can see the locations. That Azure is all clubbed up here. The crab tank does get popped from Thunder, trying to break their way back into the zone. With the combination of this and all of the paint support coming out from Zenith, they finally neutralize the zone, but they have to get that cap in order to apply more penalty. Volti with the Inkzuka again gets sniped out there, but even losing 2 players, Azure is able to get that cap on the zone, start working through their penalty points, but only a few go by before ISM Rhythm again asserts their position and caps that zone. They lose 3 players, though, Goyama being the only one left, and Azure takes this opportunity to surge forward. Volti already on the aggressive, getting that pick on Yoika and forcing Goyama so far back.
This push from Azure may get them the lead, especially when they have 3 down, and it came out of nowhere. We watched Goyame melt player after player as the spec game was trying to find someone to watch, but even with Azure losing their players, they got pushed up. They have a position now with less than a minute remaining. They have a lead, looking for a KO. They're getting a stagger applied onto ISM Rhythm. There's only 2 players left alive. The crowd from Thunder is going to keep blocking them out. Goyame is in a bit of an awkward position, trying to get backed up by Grand Roll. The Grand Roll isn't able to really do much. There are only 5 ticks left. There's only 1 player left. It's just Yosha and Ika, and they're not able to do anything. Just the wipeout to add a cherry on top to that win. Azure takes game 1.
Man, I feel like you said, that came out of nowhere. I feel like ISM Rhythm had a really good hold on that defensively pretty much the entire game, but Azure found their opportunity, and once they finally had their hold on the zone, it was impossible to make them let go. Taking a look at our stats here, Volti with a 43% kill participation there. I feel like maybe higher than you might expect from a sharky weapon like the Carbon Roller Deco, but I think the extra chip from the Burst Bomb and all those Inkzukas as well helped a lot.
And not only that, I think one way to interpret that kill percentage is that Azure are working together. Volti is going to lead the charge on those kills, but you have Zenith in Yoshel and Thunder all ready to support Volti to make sure that those kills are going to happen, to make sure that it's not a one-person effort. Whereas on the side of ISM Rhythm, we did see a lot of the solo plays. Again, we saw Livia in that corner getting 3 picks by themselves on the zap. So there seems to be almost a bit of an approach there. ISM Rhythm just have the sheer confidence, but Azure have all been playing together for a long time, know how each other want to play, and they're going to enable each other to get the win.
Also, look at the amount of paint that was coming out, especially from Grand Roll on that Dread. Like 1,700 points of paint. That is a lot, even on a Splat Zones game where that is, the whole point of it. We didn't get to look at ISM Rhythm's strikes at the beginning of the set, but as you can see, they are Urchin Underpass and Marlin Airport. 2 stages that I think you see maybe a little more commonly over on the North American side of the pond, but not here. Because Azure has won first game, they get to ban 2 stages. So we've struck Crab Lake Capital and Brinewater Springs, both Sniper's Paradise maps, I would call. So out of the pool they go.
And that's one of those interesting spots where when you have that mirror match of E-Leader players is when you remove a good E-Leader map from the pool, you're removing it from your own E-Leader player. So you need to make that decision of, can we outdo them or do we not want to worry about it? Do we trust our backliner to be able to play on a not as strong map for leader? And here we are coming to Mincemeat Metalworks, the pick from ISM Rhythm. Cater, how do you feel the E-Leader performs here?
I feel like I almost don't have enough data to say anything about it. I think that ISM Rhythm specifically likes it. I saw them play it in an earlier Rewound set. I don't remember if it was their counter pick, but I do remember them doing well on it. I think it was their counter pick. So I think that this might be something that they have more confidence in than Azure does, and that could really go well in their favor here.
Now, either way, we will get to see how the leaders perform in this set over the next 5 minutes or less if a team is really playing confident here. And speaking of some confidence, once again, Zenith walking in, proving that, maybe the teamwork we talked about at the end of the set isn't really the case here. We're going to make some of these solo plays in it. Unfortunately, not working out in their favor now as ISM Rhythm in control, without losing a couple players, though. Thunder walking across these grates, dodging out of the way of the leader shot. I thought that was going to be a free kill for Goyame, and they probably thought so too, but going down, and now the Thunder with the crab, the backup from Volti, a great push-up here in the first minute from Azure.
The combination of those 2 Azure players forcing Livia far back, but now that ISM has respawned, they are trying to break their way out here. They have 1 special at the ready. There it is, does get a pick, but also goes down, so there is the splashdown. We do also see the Reef Slider from the Dread at the ready, but meanwhile, Volti is putting in the work on the zone here. Grand is able to get the Reef Slider off, and that results in the cap for ISM Rhythm, engaged in a 1v1 here against Thunder and comes out on top. Yoika coming to support with the blaster, having to back up because of Volti's Ink Zuka, but manages to dodge all 3 shots. He's going to drop from the right side here, using this area of effect to poke at Zenith on the upper snipe area. Meanwhile, we do have the cooler coming out for Azure, courtesy of Zenith, and gets the pick on Yoika as well. So though the lead does go down, Azure is in a great place to immediately take back that zone. Thunder pops the crab, the slider also getting canceled there. So a really good place as we head into the next 3 minutes of our match. Yoshel is on the front side of those top mid grates there.
Now, getting through this penalty, Azure looking to take back this lead as we're slowly approaching the halfway point in this match. Not able to get it 1 point away, and the penalty will be applied by ISM Rhythm. Now, once again, pushing up. They have a slider ready. They have a wave breaker at the helm as well. And Soda's out just to top things off. Yoshi and Aika in the corner, baiting a player to drop down, will get picked off in the corner by Grand. That will kind of devolve there into 3 picks onto Azure. and suddenly they have to respect this numbers advantage. As I say that, Thunder actually not respecting these numbers, walking in, getting a trade, but this is going to be a good push for ISM Rhythm. They're getting a lot of points here, and we don't see Azure in a spot to push up here just yet.
Azure is working their way towards being in a spot, though, with Thunder popping the crab all the way on the other side, but Livia is completely ignoring that and deciding to antagonize Yoshel instead. Might pay for that, gets the trade off on Zenith, though. The penalty slowly but surely ticking down for ISM as Zoika stands continuing to defend this zone. 2 down for a moment there, and that is the zone going to flip, forcing them all the way back onto this back left side. They still have the full area of effect poking at Thunder, forcing them to jump back and yeah, there we go. And the splashdown getting the pick. So able to confirm that, meaning they get the zone back with the cooler up. They are in a great place to continue this defense, especially with this Reeve slider getting a pick on Volti. Woo!
And with the wipeout from ISM Rhythm, is going to put them in a great position, already in the lead. Not a whole lot of penalty remaining, not a whole lot of time left in the game. Azure in a bit of an awkward spot, especially with Livia walking forward, getting 1.5 picks. Another wipeout. The penalty's gone, 20 ticks remaining. Azure, you need something right now. You need to walk forward and get there, but I don't think there's going to be enough time. The whole team running forward, they have to ignore the players behind them. They will not even make it to the zone in time. Back-to-back wipeouts for ISM Rhythm will secure them game 2.
Look at how far that pink ink extends into the base of Azure. I mean, at the end, they were right up in the spawn area, just very, very aggressive, knowing that, hey, if you physically can't reach the zone, you can't get any paint on it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because we've seen both of these games go kind of the same way. A lot of back and forth, teams capping, but ultimately it comes down to one really strong push-up at the end. And I mean, that's not a surprise. We've all seen splat zones. That's pretty much how it ends up working out, is you get one team that has that core lockout that gets them that game-winning push. But it's interesting to see these teams be so neck and neck, and suddenly on the flip of a coin, one team will just take total control of the map, just get pushed all the way up, and just completely shut the other team down, like that close neck and neck gameplay never even happened.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is creating those opportunities. Part of it is knowing how to capitalize on it and doing it very quickly. Like after that wipeout, we saw how fast ISM Rhythm came up and pushed that aggressive position. Also want to look at our KP percentage here with Yochan Ika, that custom blaster with that 85 participation. I mean, talk about chip damage, talk about how important that is. We talked about teamwork and how closely these teams have to work together. That means that ISM Rhythm is really taking advantage of the chip damage and area of effect afforded by that custom blaster to confirm all of those picks that Yochan is pointing out.
Again, it is really interesting for it to kind of be the opposite of last game, where we were just talking about how Volti had the highest kill percentage and was kind of, you know, the one with the chip damage and being able to be in that core, and now Yochan Ika being the one in this game. So again, interesting to see the similarities between both of these teams, and in again just how neck and neck things have kind of felt so far.
Yeah, I think both of them are playing, I don't necessarily want to say the waiting game, but they're careful to not overextend on opportunities that aren't what will get them those lockout pushes, to put the resources towards creating those opportunities, and then when they get the wipeout, when they get the 3 down, okay, now it is go time, and they're already mentally and physically prepared to get into those positions so they don't waste any time debating on what to do.
Speaking of preparations, ISM Rhythm getting ready for the next round by striking Lemuria Hub in Flounder Heights, leaving Azure to make their selection on the next map here as we're going into the next stage for round 3. This next round is important because whichever team wins this is going to be up and will be on set points. So right now, whichever team you're a fan of, you're really hoping that they're a fan of MakoMart.
Well, yes, here we are. As our overlay says, Splatoon 2's final destination. This is a stage that is very well known in our community, pretty much ubiquitous, especially zones. It's the bread and butter of the Splatoon community, and it continues to be throughout the lifetime of Splatoon 3. So let's take a look at the weapons that our teams have brought here. I am not seeing any changes, but hey, these teams know what they want and they know what they are here for.
Yes, I do also believe we are not seeing any switch ups, which that just means that they know it's working. They're feeling comfortable. They're confident in these weapon picks. Again, both teams have taken a game, so they know that they can win with these comps. No adjustments needed. Livia going behind the team, playing this front line on the Zap. Again, knowing exactly what they want to do. No adjustments to their gameplay as they do get that pick. Yosha and Aika here as well on this side. That will be a cap for ISM Rhythm now, trying to get back these few points that Azure scored in the beginning of the game, but these numbers are not looking to be much in their favor, but they do manage to switch things around real quick. It is just Yoshel left alive on that leader backing up. The jumps will get picked off. ISM Rhythm in control.
In control, and they know it. The cooler up on this flat area, and Yoika coming in from the top rope with a splashdown jump, gets Zenith looking around, unfortunately does not get Volti on the swing around quick enough. Ooh, who goes on to get a wonderful Inkzuka shot onto Guyama, and turning around we see Grand getting Volti with the Reeve Slider explosion. So it is pick after pick with ISM Rhythm coming out on top objective-wise. Grand in that Flow Aura getting another pick on Thunder. Yoika is also sporting that Flow Aura. Volti is doing a little bit of sneaky sharking, gets a jump over here. Ooh, doesn't get the vertical pick onto a member of ISM though, and so their position is revealed. Thunder crabbing from the low ground on the side of the zone here, combined with Volti's Inkzuka. We are trying to get back into the zone, and finally it does flip, but not before ISM gets all the way to 20. That is a pretty hefty penalty though, so Azure has some room to breathe and find their footing in mid here.
That's the scary thing about Splat Zones. Even when there was nothing that major happening, no big picks, no big multi-kills, ISM Rhythm was just passively gaining points that entire time, getting all the way to 20, but nothing is passive but how the way Yoshel is playing, getting that one, trying to look for another, but it's a slider, but it'll get canceled by the rest of their team. The control will be lost and will not be able to keep counting down on those points. Livia, once again, going over this flank, will get pushed back by Zenith, a Zap v Zap in this corner, trying to prove that they're the better support slayer, as Zenith will take the crown there, going back to the zone, getting a soda ready for the team as this penalty is about to run dry, and Azure are looking to take a lead in the last half of this game.
Thunder at the very end of this crab rolling around in this alleyway. Doesn't find anything, but hey, they put a lot of pressure on here. Yoshel spots Livia, but doesn't get the snipe on them, almost certainly calling that out to the rest of the team. We have the splashdown coming onto the zone that does flip it immediately. 20-29 here. The scores are very close, but ISM Rhythm losing 3 members, meaning Azure can push far up. Yoshel all the way up on this right stack, taking full control of it. Grand, you can see trying to hook in, but has to contend with the commanding presence of that leader. Yoika is hanging out behind this wall here, but Volti sees them. Grand is going to Reef Slider into the zone and does cap it, but it is going to fall again almost immediately as 2 members are down on ISM Rhythm. Volti just goes down to Goyama, who did find that snipe. He's doing a great job on this leader, looking at Thunder, forcing them back, able to come back up onto this stack here. There's the pick on Thunder. That is what they wanted. Now staring down Yoshel.
Though they have to cap this zone. Not a whole lot of time left before Azure takes the lead. Only 3 ticks away. The splashdown is going to confirm that cap with the rest of the team painting. We've been seeing a lot of damage control from ISM Rhythm to apply these penalties, but every time they cap, we see Azure get a couple of picks and get right back in control. They keep whittling this score total closer and closer, now within 1 point and only a short penalty away. We have the Zuka, we have the Crab. The specials from Azure are coming out to confirm that they get the lead here with less than a minute left. There is the lead swap though. Yocha and Aika in the back getting a pick, down 3 players on Azure. They will have to back up and retreat, but now they have the lead. The game state has shifted.
shifted indeed, though ISM Rhythm is now finally in control. Volti has come to shake things up, gets the pick on Goyama before they are called out and taken out by Grand. Losing 2 players, though, makes this a lot more difficult. Grand has that Reef Slider, which has been such an important zone-confirming tool, so that is great to have in their back pocket. As we head into the last 20 seconds of our match, Zenith putting that paint down on the zone, neutralizing it, but ISM responds immediately, taking them out. Grand is here, putting so much paint on the zone, as is the job of that Dragonier. Livia coming in to also do the job. The penalty is at a single point now, so it is gone. We are neck and neck. The lead swaps in our last 5 seconds, and unless the zone can get neutralized, it is going to be game. So close to a knockout, not like we've seen in the previous 2. We were neck and neck all the way up to that ending whistle.
These are the endings I'm secretly praying for. Those close last-second calls. You don't know if overtime's going to start. You don't know if the team's going to take the lead right then and there. But it's definitely an unfortunate spot to be in if you're Azure. You know, seeing Yoshel, the last one up, recognizing that there's no time left. I have to cap, but it's a 1v3.
Yeah.
What do I do in this position? And it's just that unfortunate way to end that game. Now, as I said earlier, that is game 3, which now sets ISM Rhythm up to set point. They only need 1 more win, so sitting in a pretty comfortable spot here.
They are in a comfortable spot, but I believe this, because of where we are at, that does mean that Azure gets to pick the stage after ISM bans 2. So it does leave some of the power to them. But let's take a look at the stats that we've got here. Our highest kill participation actually going to Thunder here with an even 50% on that Splat Dualies. But of course, Yochan Ika not close behind on that Blaster again with a 46.9.
Yeah, definitely. I think something interesting with this game, I feel like we're seeing a bit more deaths in this match. I feel like there was a lot of fighting here with mixed with those low kill participation percentages. We're getting a lot of just people that are getting picked off, but also not a lot of kills to compensate it. So I think that a lot of the KDAs in this match seem very modest. I mean, we're going to ignore Yoshel's 9 and 3, you know, really just like kind of throwing away my point there. But like the rest of the player, I even Goyama 8 and 3, but those are leaders. But all the non-backline players having these around neutral or even negative KDs is very interesting to see.
Well, can I say what is not modest is the paint that some of these players are putting out, very close to 2,000 points from both Zenith and Grand Roll, and I can see why, especially at the end. I mean, both of those players were pretty much painting like their life depended on it, which I would say it did. Of course, that's the whole objective of the game, but putting out so much of that paint allows your teammates to focus on getting those picks and being in positions instead of having to worry about staying back and painting the zone. It's all about that teammate trust and synergy.
Now, going back to our strikes and selections, the struck stages for ISM Rhythm are going to be Museum, Dalfoncino, and Wahoo World. Now leaving Azure to pick their stage, and we're going to Hammerhead Bridge Splat Zones.
Oh, this stage is long, and honestly, for how long it is, the zone feels pretty small. You have those side wings that you can do a lot of things in, but I would compare this to maybe Manta Maria for how the layout of mid specifically feels. But other than that, I feel like this is this game's Walleye Warehouse. Really, really long way to go from spawn. So if you get wiped and the other team is at maybe 20 points remaining, it's very, very difficult to come back from that.
Definitely. And something interesting, too, is that neither of these teams are running any beacon weapons, so they really have to rely on someone staying up to be that anchor to let them get back in quick, lest they have to run all the way back. Now with 2 players down on each side, make that 3, because Livia coming in from behind, also giving a jump to a player that's going to almost be a delayed wipeout, but not just quite, because they're able to keep fighting, keep jumping in. This is what I talked about, having a player alive to be those jumpers, to give those jumps. But the unfortunate thing for those jumpers is that they were always just going down one by one. A bit of an awkward opening there for Azure is going to give ISM Rhythm a great opening push.
Okay, and that Flora has the splashdown ready as well. Goyame chilling in mid the designated jump point, tries to snipe Thunder, who pops the crab at just the right time to avoid that. And now they are really just in a standoff here. Goyama managing to survive that. Livia not so lucky, getting caught in that crossfire. Thunder is still here on the front lines on that splat dualies, and we're trying to antagonize the members of ISM just a little bit, but staying back, respecting the leader, though is able to go in and get that pick off of Grand, just very slowly inching their way forward as Azure continues their hold on the zone.
Yeah, Azure definitely don't want to overcommit to this. They want to at least get that lead first before they give themselves any chance to make any mistakes. And they know that a play from Livia is going to happen eventually. We've been seeing them constantly being the player to make those big flanks. They're just trying to expect it, get ready for it. Volti will trade out there. The lead will switch over. Azure have lost the numbers advantage, but the rest of ISM Rhythm is too far back. They can probably give him some jumps. Grand going to get one pick with that slider, and also getting the zone neutral will help leading to getting it capped, applying a penalty, keeping Azure from potentially getting a KO there. And now as we're approaching the halfway mark of this game, ISM Rhythm trying to contest this zone, buy some space, getting a nice pick. Goyame able to just barely skirt by the ledge of that ramp as ISM Rhythm starting to get their rhythm back here.
Yeah, I see what you did there, getting the rhythm back. Grand has this slider at the ready. This penalty is also gone for ISM Rhythm. Yoika doing a little funny shark here, waiting for someone to drop down. I think they see their prey. They want to catch Zenith off guard or someone from behind, and they do. Able to get the pick on Yoshel, and now waiting for this jump to come down. This is what we were talking about, those jumpers getting Volti down. Single-digit points remaining. Another direct from them. The zone neutralized, but with 3 members down, there is nothing Azure can do, and we have a knockout for ISM Rhythm, taking our set 3-1.
Oh, that patience from Yocha and Ika at the very end, I was so tense watching ISM Rhythm tie the point score, have the zone go neutral, and having the patience to not immediately beeline for the zone to help your team try to cap it, to make sure you get that KO, and playing smart, waiting for an opportunity to get those picks, eventually leading to your team getting the win. That was impressive.
It absolutely was. And what is also impressive is this kill participation from Livia and Yochan, 94.4%, meaning that Livia assisted in almost every pick that ISM Rhythm pulled off. And, that's got to be due to the coolers as well, but also just the sheer amount of plays that they were making. This whole set, we've seen them be the ones to, like you said, pull off those big flanks, to draw attention, to get that paint on the ground. And so the combination of the value from the cooler assists and making those big plays means that you get a big number like this one.
And that's what you need to win this set. You need those big numbers. You need that participation. You need to be able to provide for your team. And even though coolers may be a lot of the reason why Livia has such a high kill participation, that's still value. You're still giving your team sodas. You are still you are actively contributing to your teammates going faster. And as we talked about Hammerhead, it's a long map. They don't have beacons. You got to get that run speed to get around the map and get back into position.
Also, having cooler assists means your teammates had and picked up that cooler in the first place, which means you place them well. And as a cooler player myself, who had to, go through the whole learning curve of how to place coolers and how to do it with my team specifically, it is not as easy as it sounds. So timing it well, placing them down well, that is a skill set in its own. But congratulations to ISM Rhythm for coming out on top in this set. And we have much more action if you want to check out any more of our sets that we've got here. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you very shortly in the next one.